Romans chapter 11 verses 7 to 9 New International Version states. 7 What then? Israel failed to obtain what it was seeking. The elect obtained it, but the rest were hardened. 8 As it is written, God gave them a spirit of stupor, eyes that would not see and ears that would not hear, down to this very day. 9 And David says, may their table become a snare and a trap, a stumbling block and a retribution for them. This passage from Romans, written by the Apostle Paul, deals with the complex relationship between Israel's spiritual state and God's sovereign plan. In verse 7, Paul reflects on the fact that despite Israel's pursuit of righteousness, only a select group, referred to as the elect, truly embraced what God offered. The others were hardened, a state Paul implies was part of God's divine plan. Verse 8 references a prophecy from Isaiah 29:10, and Deuteronomy 29:4, where God speaks of giving the people a spirit of stupor, where they would not understand or perceive spiritual truths. This spiritual blindness and deafness symbolize the judgment upon Israel for their unbelief and rejection of God's message. Verse 9 quotes Psalm 69:22-23, where King David speaks of judgment. The table here is symbolic, representing what should have been a source of sustenance and blessing for Israel. Instead, it becomes a snare and a trap, signifying that what was intended for good has become a means of judgment because of their unbelief. Paul's message in these verses is deeply theological. It speaks to the mystery of God's sovereignty and human responsibility. While God's election and hardening of hearts may seem challenging to reconcile with human free will, Paul presents these concepts as part of the divine mystery of God's plan for salvation. This passage underlines the idea that God's ways and thoughts are higher than human understanding, and it calls for trust in God's ultimate plan for redemption and grace, even when it seems enigmatic or challenging.